Hello and welcome back to the Mindful Dose podcast. If you're new here, my name is Adriana. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today's episode is on meditation and consciousness. So it's a brief introduction to the concept of consciousness within meditation. And in the future, down the line, I'll get into studies and the nitty-gritty of it all, but I wanted to just open up the conversation. I know that meditation is one of these words that gets tossed around a lot. When I talk to people, I'll come across a bunch of different perspectives on meditation and the definition of it. So I've come across people saying they meditate while they're riding their motorcycle or when they work out at the gym. And all of this is great. I love that people have this calming experience in doing things that they love. But that is more what I would call meditative. Meditation, it's really hard to find that definition that fits for everyone, but it's essentially a one point of concentration. So going back to the example of riding a motorcycle, you can't really concentrate on just riding the motorcycle. You're concentrating on the cars and the traffic around you, what's in front of you, the weather, the light. There's a lot of factors. So meditation is really a practice about tuning into one point and then concentrating on that. And then there are several styles of that branch of definition, and we can go into that in another episode. But I wanted to talk about the real, true meditation experience, because by establishing that true meditation practice, a practitioner will then experience what is consciousness and at its truest, purest form. And that's where I really feel like the magic to our life really kind of blossoms. So going into it, what consciousness really means. So consciousness is like mindfulness. It is a awareness that is neutral in the moment as it exists. The first time that I experienced this in my adult life, because I can tell you that I have memories as a young human. I think I can go back as far as like 2 or 3 years old. And then there are like spotty memories between like ages 4 to 10 of what I can consider now pure conscious awareness. As an adult, going through middle school, going through high school, going through college, I've really tapped out of that present moment awareness experience until I went for a yoga teacher training. I actually was just about to start. I hadn't started yet, but I had just finished college and I was kind of exploring like spirituality and like esoteric type of subjects. I was very new at all of it, so I picked up a book that is called Awakening Your Psychic Powers. I can't tell you the exact authors, but the information is based on the studies of Edgar Cayce. So in reading that book, I was on vacation just weeks before starting a yoga teacher training, so I was really, really concentrating on just being in tune with my inner voice. I was already meditating, but it was like I was a beginner at that point. So after reading this book, there was this chapter that was bringing awareness to consciousness and bringing awareness to mindfulness. And the information there stuck with me. And I'm on a tanning chair on like next to the pool. I have my book and I have my phone and I had some wired headphones. And I take out the wired headphones to connect to my phone so I could listen to music. And I find myself struggling to get these headphones. And I find myself struggling. I let it go. I go back to the book, and then I fight that and go back to the headphones. And I just find myself doing this like push and pull between like wanting to read the book and wanting to like undo my headphone wiring so I could listen to music. And it was in that moment where I just stopped and I was like, whoa, what am I doing? Like it was just a moment of clarity, and it sounds so simple, but it was truly a moment where like it's like I stepped back, further back into my mind, and I was like, girl, what is happening? Like, what? Decide. So that was the moment that it opened the door to me in my adulthood, and since then I've been continuously opening that door and widening that space. So meditation can help you access this state by continuously practicing a single point of concentration. So the breath is the easiest one, but it's also the hardest one for beginners. So by easiest, I mean that it's the most accessible. But it's really hard for people to do it because you've been doing it without having to think about it. So like, why create a moment now to think about it? And so then there are other forms of practices that can get you there. You'll see that in the show that there's present moment awareness, so you just kind of concentrate on like any thought or experience that's happening to you. So you're just kind of letting the world exist within and around you. That's present moment awareness. There's the breath awareness that, like I said, is the easiest in that it's the most accessible tool, but it's also the hardest for most practitioners. And then there's guided meditation where someone is like holding your hand and guiding you from beginning to end through either a visual experience, a sensory experience, or whatever the theme is on that guided meditation. There's so many other types of meditation, including walking meditation, eating meditation. So there are many avenues for everyone to explore to get to a place where they can explore their consciousness. And I think that it really matters on where you are in your life and what matters to you in your life. It is totally normal to be distracted, to be restless, and to be uncomfortable through the experience. I have been doing it for almost 10 years, and I still find myself experiencing those feelings, but my mindful muscle, my meditation muscle is a little bit stronger than the restlessness, so it's easier for me to kind of get through that funk and just go into my practice. In the very beginning, it's going to be kind of hard. If you've never trained for a marathon and you just jump right into one, it's going to be challenging. So you have to train yourself, and then you'll be more equipped to handle the experience. But it doesn't mean that training yourself, like having a meditation practice, will take away any distraction or any unpleasant feelings, whether it's in your practice or outside of your practice. There is a myth that meditation should quiet your mind. It really doesn't. It quiets maybe the extra noise that's going on in your mind, whether it's like ruminating on the past or thinking too much about the future. But there will be this voice in your head, and that is your consciousness. That's the part of you that's aware and neutral in the experience. So there is no quieting the mind and not experiencing anything. You're always going to experience something, and your mind is always there to experience it. Through meditation, that becomes a softer experience. So I think that my takeaway for this so far is that meditation is like a friend to your mind. Your mind and your meditation practice will learn more and more about each other the more that you practice. You'll find the styles that work for you. You'll find that you'll be kinder to your mind and the experiences that you go through, especially if it's, if you're going through like an anxiety attack, which I actually had a couple of weeks ago. For the first time, maybe ever, or maybe the first time in a really long time. And I was really struggling in that moment I hadn't realized that it was an anxiety attack until after I got through it. But I just found myself really struggling with my mind, and none of my tools, like my breathing tools or like none of my techniques were truly helping, which is also something that I want everyone to kind of like let go of. Like, I have been practicing for 8 years and I'm not perfect. I'm still not perfect. I'm just so much kinder to myself and I'm so much more compassionate to others. And I think that is the most valuable takeaway with an established meditation practice, because we go through our life experiences no matter what. Like, life is not perfect. Things are going to happen to us, and it's not always going to be pleasant. We can change our attitude within ourselves. So I have gone through some really sucky stuff, but I have worked really hard on that attitude to accept the experience and get through it. And I think that meditation has really helped a big part of that. All of this to kind of push forward that meditation really is a positive experience that can be beneficial to the world. Anyway, befriending your mind is the takeaway for meditation in my teachings. When you connect with me, when you trust me to be your meditation teacher, at the very end, we always close off with gratitude, not just for each other, for having the session together, but for your own self, for showing up to your own practice, because you're doing such a kind thing to yourself. And then in the bigger picture, you're kind of doing the kind thing for humanity, in my opinion. There are easy ways to kind of access this consciousness. There's an anchor breath. So I know that I said that this was the hardest one, but we're going to kind of briefly go through it. You just follow your breath. So it only goes two ways. It goes in and it goes out. In, out. And you just follow it. And that may be boring for you, so I would encourage you to follow it a little bit further. Where does it go when it goes in? To your throat, or to your belly, or to your chest? And then follow it out. Follow it in. Follow it out. So you can really follow the breath further into the body, because you don't just, it doesn't just stay in your nose, it goes into your body. So follow it in your body, and then follow it as it exits your body. That's one way to practice using the breath. Another way is to use your body as a listener. So if the breath is if you're too distracted with the breath awareness, try tuning into your body. Your body is much larger. It has a lot more things to say that you can concentrate and focus in on. So find a comfortable position. Keep your body relaxed, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaw, relaxing the muscles around your face. And then you can choose to scan your body from one end down or one end up. Or if there's any part of your body that's really calling your attention in this moment, just tune into it. Explore the feeling. Where is it? Can you localize it with your mind's eye? Meaning your physical eyes are closed and your mental eye is examining this part of your body that's speaking to you loudly. And you just tune in and listen to that. A couple years ago, I had a surgery along my shoulder, between like my neck and my shoulder. I had an extraction, and it was just the strangest feeling. And I remember laying on my yoga mat and just feeling like this sensation on that the area where I had the surgery, and compared it to the area where I didn't. And I just explored the feeling, and it, like, to give you a descriptive, where I had the surgery, I just felt like this flowy sensation, probably fluids, but so I just concentrated on that. It didn't freak me out. The body awareness scan can be tricky for some people. I would explore that lightly, but if you have any trauma with your body, it may not be the best option for you in your practice, and that's totally fine. But you're using your body as an anchor is another way to just experience the consciousness. Observing your thoughts. This can be hard for some people, especially those who have like social anxiety. This was kind of tricky for me. But observing your thoughts, it's like watching clouds in the sky. You're just kind of watching it flow by, watching the next thing, watching the next thought, whatever it is that's kind of floating in your mind. Just observing it, not analyzing, not justifying, not going into a story about it, just watching it. And then there is just mini moments that you can have. So this would be more along like the meditative type of experiences, but this is not like riding a motorcycle. It's more like if you're waiting at a doctor's office and they don't have magazines, your phone died, there's no service or whatever, and you're just waiting, you're just there, and it's just you. That can be a meditative experience. That can be a moment of consciousness. And sometimes that can bring like some downloads that will blow your mind. So these are some of the tools, the ways that you can access consciousness through meditation, through just a mindful moment. Now I want to lead you into just a brief guided meditation. We're going to include some of these things, not everything, because we just don't have the time, but 3 minutes is all you need to just experience just a brief moment of mindfulness. So take a moment to find a comfortable position. Just make sure you're not driving. Relax your shoulders. If you feel comfortable to close your eyes, you can. If you'd like to keep your eyes open, just keep your eyes soft. Not looking at anything in particular, just keeping your gaze soft. Take a moment to tune into your breath, listening to the inhales and listening to the exhales. Turn down the volume to anything else that isn't your breath, so that your breath is the loudest sound that you can hear in this moment. And just explore it, listening to the tone, listening to any shuffle, whatever your breath sounds like in this moment. Just hold on to it, because that's your body keeping yourself alive. And take a moment to now tune into your mind, noticing where your mind is. Is it here? Is it in the past? Or is it in the future? Wherever it is, just encourage it to remain here, right here in this very moment. Right here, just listening to your breath. Now bring your hands to your heart, just making a point of contact to connect further into your body. Now notice how, listening to the breath and bringing your hands to your chest, you can now follow the breath a little bit deeper. Just use this as an anchor to settle you here further into the moment. And just take a moment to honor yourself for putting in the effort today in your practice. And when you're ready, you can release your hands and gently release the practice. And you'll see that just a brief moment like that can kind of turn down the noise in your mind and turn up the volume in your consciousness. So I invite you to explore ways that you can find those brief moments in your day. If you are, you know, a type of person that likes to use meditative experiences, let's say you're going to the gym, just concentrate on one workout, on one rep, and just really feel the rep from beginning to end. And then take a pause and then do it again. But I would definitely encourage a formal practice and eventually leading your way into what we would call a sitting practice. And you don't technically have to sit, you can lay down. So I'm here for you guys. I hope that this brings you a little peace of mind. Let me know what you think in the comments, how you'd like to explore this a little bit further so I can help guide you. But you can definitely see in the future, after this episode, that I will be opening up further doors into that. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.